Hey, hi everybody. Happy Thursday to you and welcome to Conversations with Jeff. That's it. That's right. Conversations with Jeff. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Tyson and I'm the President and Business Development Director for Transcending Companies. And we're a real estate redevelopment company. And as a real estate investor, I'm known as kind of the king of rehabs. That's right. I got that name from other investors. I didn't create that name myself. And that comes from working on the biggest, nastiest projects on the street over a period of time. And, from that though, not only do we do nice projects, but we also build relationships with other investors that either wanted to learn how to do that or are in a job like that and they needed some help and they would come to us. Because a big part of who we are is giving back. We've always believed in serving and in my life, I've been in business for over 40 years, and 20 of it in corporate America at a high level, and then 20 plus years as an entrepreneur. And I've always had a mentor, and I've always said to myself, man, if I have an opportunity to give back, that's what I'm going to do. And this is what this whole conversation with Jeff is about. And yes, it's focusing on real estate. We'll do 2 a month at least, but we're also going to have a mixture of other people in other industries and other people doing other things that have really, changed their life and can probably change the life of the audience, because we would like to be able to speak to a broad audience. So we welcome everybody that's here. A couple of things I'm going to ask, if you would please, is make sure when you put in the chat, if you're coming from Facebook, you add your name to it, because we can't necessarily tell who you are and where you are and what you do, and say, as the speakers come on and they do that, let's participate, right? Because they're going to deliver some powerful things today. I'm excited about who we're going to bring on, but the purpose of our conversations with Jeff is about having real life conversations and just basic, raw conversations about things. And these are how this audience, these folks are going to be today. So, and I will go to my notes from time to time, because we want to keep it time frame wise. If you're wondering, we're going to try and keep it to maximum 45 minutes, but more like 30 minutes. And hang in there if you can, because the juicy part's going to be towards the end. Oh, boy, I can't wait for that part. So anyway, let me see if I have that. So I told you who I am, what we're really trying to do from this meeting, and welcoming everybody and asking you to participate. So what's going to happen now is I am going to make sure that our guests are ready. And just really quickly, short information is Stacy and Courtney work together, and they're going to go through their bio, so I'm not going to go into that a lot. But stay tuned, sit up, be ready to get full information, get overserved. And let me go out and see if I can bring into today's conversation with Jeff, our guest speakers for today, Stacy and Courtney. Here we are.
Hey.
Hey, Stacy. How you two doing?
How you doing today?
Doing good.
All right. Good to see you two.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here, man. I know it's been a while since we've been face to face, so thank goodness for technology, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a wonder.
It is. So, but listen, I know we all 3 of us love to chat and we can talk all day, so I'm going to try and keep us on a little schedule, so we don't get too far off. Why don't you begin by telling a little bit more about who you are and what you guys do.
Sure. So just to be clear, I'm Stacy and this is Courtney. We both have interchangeable names, so just so everybody knows who's who. So I'm Stacy. I'm a real estate agent. I work with Courtney in the investment field. 25% of my business is retail, 75% is investment, working with investors on their flips, finding flips. I do kind of the design and layouts of all of our flips, as well as sometimes helping other investors with that as well.
Good.
And I'm Courtney, and we're business and we're life partners. So we're together before this journey started. I mainly manage the day-to-day construction, dealing with the contractors, doing a lot of the paperwork in regards to the lenders and managing the money and funds and things like that. But just, I've been around in this business for about since about 2013, but really started flipping in
17.
about 16 or 17 is when we kind of went full time with the flipping business. But we've done, a number of things within the real estate realm, from wholesaling. We manage a few rental properties that we hold on to ourselves. We've GC'd a couple of projects for some out-of-state investors. So we've, touched a lot of areas in real estate.
Yeah, you're right. If I may add to that, they're both kind of humble. I'll tell you, Stacy, as an example, she mentions that she designs a lot of the work. But, I mean, she does a tremendous job. She's really working with just think of Play-Doh, a blob of Play-Doh a lot of times, because these products, they don't have, you really have to have a mind for it and not for it.
Yeah.
And she does, and Courtney does that too. So,
yeah.
And I continue to just really, take some really nasty jobs and just create beautiful masterpieces.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I did it. Like, half the time I don't know what I'm doing. He usually can't see the project's glory until it's painted, which is like the very end. And he's like, "Oh, this looks great." I'm like, "I tried to tell you, it's going to be awesome."
Yeah.
But I honestly don't have a design eye. Google is my best friend. Wayfair, when you order products, it says these go well together. That is my secret weapon.
But I'm still those things. I mean, those are all good tools. But you said something that you don't have, what you want to call a higher level education, but you still stood in there and you found a way to make it work for you.
Yeah.
I would be lost without her. I mean, that she's the backbone to that space, and no matter where we're at, when we go into these houses, I call her. I text her, call her, say, "Hey, I need you to see what you see in this project, and lay it out." So she does a good job at that. I could be a little bit hard sometimes and say, "I don't really like that," but at the end of the day, she's the boss, and she makes those decisions, and then I just go with the flow and execute. Yeah.
So since we're kind of on the subject, this was going to be a little later on. Let's talk about for a minute. What was it like when you first came together? And most people say, "Man, when I can't try and do this," and then she changes her mind, or I try and do this and he changes his mind and messes up everything I have planned. How was it for you two to kind of get in your own lanes?
At first it was, we kind of picked everything out together. Like, it was on our first couple of flips, like we actually went to Home Depot and picked out the vanities and picked out the lights. But then it kind of came to a point where we were doing, 4 at a time. And it's like, you don't have time to do that. It just needs to be remote. You need to be able to order it and it be delivered. Most of the time he agrees with my choices. There's some things he's like, "No, we're going to send those back." But sometimes he does override me, and it can slow things down, but most of the time he doesn't.
And the main thing for us for me is, and just to bring everybody up to speed, like, Jeff was very, important in my life. He was like, it still is, but he was the first person that took the chance to deal with me. So he's had a huge impact on my real estate career. He was my first mentor, and I can't thank him enough for that. So I learned a lot of things from him. But the times when did I override some things is when, if we're working on a $150,000 house and then we're working on a $400,000 house, some of those finishes got to be different. We have to have some wow factors. So, we like to keep our system, things the same, toilets the same, some of the things the same. It makes it easier. But then when we get into these bigger, higher houses that cost more, we need to have wow factors. So we might have to, change some things out. Vanities need to be marble or granite or quartz, opposed to solid surface. So that's the only time that I might say, "Hey, let's kind of give this more thought."
But we've pretty much defined our rules, so it's to the point where we're not clashing every day over silly things.
Because it was tough.
You mentioned something, Stacy, about going places together and realizing that was really a waste of time. So and I remember you two kind of at that space, and I would see that, and where you landed is where I thought you would be, because you were already like, this is how we're going to do this, and this way, and I learned just unless it was really crazy structural wise, I've learned to just let you two go, because you really end up working through. You make a decision, and whatever that result is, whether it comes out when you want it to come out or you got to struggle to get there, you stay in there and get it done. So I commend you on that. And Courtney, thank you for your kind words earlier too, because it's
thank you. Thank you, man. Can't thank you enough. Like I said, you gave me some tools that I still use to this day. And I mean, you got to think that's been years ago when me and you first met, and you gave me some tools and some structure that I still utilize to this day, that has helped me out tremendously in the business overall. So I thank you for that. And again, can't thank you enough for that.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
And the nice part about it is I see you two doing that with other people.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole joy.
Yeah.
Out there and being able to do that. And you know what? People listen to you because you perform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you care. That's
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's good. So let's talk a little bit about some of the journey. Right?
Okay.
The whole discussion is in and around some things, but the journey, and when I go by that, how was it? I hear this all the time with new investors. Man, I hear all this information. I still don't know how to get started. I got started, I'm struggling. How was it? What can you tell us? What was it like for you when you first got started? I know it's a lot of conversation, so try and keep it. And what was it like?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, we and it's still not easy. It's just when we first started, we were searching for identity. We were searching for our space within real estate. And I started off wholesaling and or whatnot, and
while working full time.
So I was a truck driver, and Stacy was.
I was in nursing school, and I was a student nurse at the hospital.
Yeah. So it was a thing where, when we started off, I was doing it on the side. It was a part-time thing. And, as I'm going to these RIA meetups, as I'm meeting people, as I'm networking, I just was intrigued that these people were living a life doing what they wanted to do, running their own business. So, I tapped in and tuned in, and that's where I kind of met you around that time. But, as I was going through these struggles or going through this journey, here's Stacy, and I'm like, well, do you want to join us? Do you want to join and come on? And at first, I mean, I was paying for doing, I'm not going to say nothing, but I didn't have a structure, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just searching and doing anything.
We were swimming in the ocean. We were just like out there. But I mean, honestly, Courtney has a once I start something, I don't quit attitude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember him. He was like, "I'm going to work with Jeff." Like we went to all the meetings, and he would talk to Jeff every time, and he was like, "I'm going to make sure that I'm doing what they're doing, and I'm not going to stop till I figure it out."
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest part, is because we've all met those people that are like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to start, and they kind of make their own excuses. And it's like, you can't give yourself self-pity in a world of self-driven career. Yeah. So I think that was the biggest part of Courtney's journey, is like, he was self-driven, and he's like, I'm going to make this happen for myself.
Well, and then I also, give a lot of credit to we wouldn't be where we're at today without the network. Without the network, I mean, we were just blessed to run into the right people. We were just running into the right people, the right person after the right person. And, once Stacy got involved with me, the biggest turnaround is when she got involved with the RIA Club, with our local RIA Club, Cyria. She got in, she navigated, and we were just a two-headed monster at that point. We were both, networking, navigating through the network and meeting people. And, that's when all the pieces start to come together. And that's when we learn how to delegate and separate from each other, and that we would be 2 times stronger. And once we did that, and then Stacy went and got her realtor's license. It just was like, things were just, it was like a magnet. Stuff was coming to us. All we had to do was execute. Again, I turned back into, I started off wholesaling. The only reason I got into the flipping side of the business was because I was missing, and I was missing my numbers on the rehabs. So I was making the wrong offers to the sellers because my rehab numbers were off. So I got into the flipping space only to make me better in that. But then I liked what I saw, and I liked what flipping was about. I just liked how we turned a distressed house into a home with a family. It's very important that my house looks good, but also it's structurally good, because I know a family is moving into that house. So we take pride in all that. But I was just intrigued by that whole process and end up getting stuck in the flipping space.
Yeah.
And then, when Stacy got her realtor's license, it was like, well, we can just keep all the money in the family. We do the projects together. She listed, and, many discussions, many late night conversations and things like that. But
many fights.
It's tough. It's tough. It is tough. But our journey is
it's wholesome.
It is.
It's a legit journey. It was not easy. It was very many nights like, what in the hell are we doing? Why are we doing this? But now, they always say, once you get good at something, it just is like second nature. And I feel like now it's just second nature. Deals fall in our lap, listings fall in my lap, investors fall in my lap. And I don't say that it's just fallen to me. It's been worked for, but it's definitely not as hard as it used to be when you're like, well, when's my next deal coming?
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to say something. I know a little bit about your history. Thank you, too, for sharing so far. I'm sitting here thinking about some situations that we don't have time to talk about that we were together in. But I want to just highlight a couple things. Working full time, 2 different careers, and in recognizing the power. And I hope the people that are listening to catch this power in networking and building relationships. YouTube, and the last thing I want to go to, why you are where you are, things are coming to you because you worked your tail off.
For sure, yeah, that's important.
You 2 are working, and I like to say 8 days a week, and there's only 7 that means.
Yeah.
And dealing with some really tough projects that investors that had a lot more years and a lot more experience than you 2 didn't mess with. Because but you're resourceful and you don't give up. So anybody listening at home, it's real. They're not telling you how it really was. They are, but it's now, but there were some tears along the way, I'm sure. I know.
Still is a lot of frustration at times. We deal with it a little bit better now, but and she did, if I didn't have her, then I probably would have went crazy. But, I'm very, I hang on to that I hang on to the frustration a little longer.
He lets it smolder.
I let it carry on, I let it spill over, but it's just that I'm so passionate about it that, you know, and I gotta find that balance. I'm still working on that balance. So just let everybody know that it's not peaches and cream all the time. I'm still human. Still have human things. Still have feelings, and you know, I'm just passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about our passion, and one thing that, and the most important thing we have yet to talk about. So tell us about your son, the 7-year-old son. While they're raising this champion, I call him the young prince. But what's that all like, you know, as you guys build?
Oh man, he's great. You know, this summer he rode around with us because we put him in camp and he didn't like it, so we took him out. And he's like, "We're going to another house." He's like, "Is it the house with the carpet?" Because like some of the houses were done, so he could go like lay upstairs and play his game. But if we go to like a vacant house, he's like, "But this one's dirty." But I mean, he's learning it. He lost his tooth a few weeks ago, and the tooth fairy put $20 under his pillow, and he said, "I'm going to save my 20. I'm going to put it in the bank." And I said, "Okay, what are you saving it for?" He's like, "Well, I want to buy a house." So I'm like, that's all we needed to hear. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's then ended up spending it on like Fortnite. So it didn't matter. But it was still the thought that counts.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's definitely in tune. He loves it. We're able to be involved parents. So, you know, if the school calls, we can answer. If, you know, we take him on vacation with us. He's had a pretty good life, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. And one of my proud dad moments was he was playing a game on the phone one day, and I just so happened to look over at it, and there was a lot of men working on this house. It was like they was building this house, and I'm like, "What you playing?" And he's just showing me the different things in this game. You know, you build up your money, and as you build up your money, you can buy workers, and the more workers you buy, the faster you can build the house, the more money you can make. And I was just intrigued that he was playing this game. I was just so proud, and I was like, man, that's awesome that he's you know, seeing things, and then he's acting on it. You know,
yeah,
he's implementing those things. So that game was pretty neat. I don't know what it was called, but it was a pretty little neat game, and I was happy that he was playing that opposed to playing Fortnite, you know, or something else. But
he's definitely our why. People ask what your why is, and
Yeah.
I would. I mean, you have a million whys, but your kids are your number one why.
Yeah, you know, I got a little salt in my eye, so I got something rolling down the corner. Sorry, but I know. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I see, and he's active too. So, right? I mean, he's doing something.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have that to work with in addition to building the business. So it's full speed all the time in your life. Right?
Yeah, it is. You know, I mean, we went from, you know, when we was working a 9 to 5, we had time to watch TV and things like that. And now it doesn't stop. You know, he's at school. Once he gets out of school, you know, we got to be sure to show him some attention. And all the time you know, me personally, I felt like that. I let a lot of time go by working and not, you know, doing what I feel like I need to be doing with him. So I have to check myself sometimes and say, hey, you know, it's time to put work down for a minute. And, you know, if it wasn't for her, you know, we took a few family vacations. If she wasn't around, I wouldn't have did that.
I just book him. He doesn't even know.
I wouldn't have did that. And I you know, contemplate on it, and I reflect that, hey, that was very important for us to get that time and enjoy that, because time we don't get back. You know, he's not gonna be 7 forever. We don't get that back. It's gonna go. So she keeps me in check with that. So, you know, that balance is there. So I learned to appreciate the smaller things in life. You know, as I grow, as I get older, mature, you know, in my business and in my personal life.
Yeah. And if I get into that, Stacy, I got to tell you, Courtney, you notice I've always been partial to Stacy anyway because of who she is. Plus, my wife's name is Stacy, so you know I do that. But I'm so glad that you guys connected where you are today, because I knew I'm not like I'm a genius or anything like that, but I could see the chemistry that he had, you know, and was praying that it would come together like it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what was the biggest? I want both of you to answer this. What was probably the biggest individual roadblock you had working together and maybe in the business? We only have a couple minutes if you could.
Yeah. So I think mine personally was going from a worker's mindset to an entrepreneur's. I was very much like, okay, it's 4 o'clock, I'm done working. And I still have days where I'm just like, I'm done. Like I've worked 8 hours today, I'm done. We're gonna always have work to do. There's always gonna be something to do. But I think that was the biggest hurdle for me, was making sure that, you know, sometimes you might have worked a long day, but there's still things that have to be done if you want everything to continue to flow.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So.
Yeah. And it's, you know, nobody's above us to say, get up at this time, do this, do that. You know, our actions reflect, you know, our profit or you know, our success. So it's just self-discipline is so important in this business. But to touch on mine's probably in the beginning was, I want to say it was finances. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do this business without the money that I needed. You know, I never could figure out, you know, I want to do this, but where am I going to find the money? I would say that, along with making decisions. I struggle with making decisions. I would linger on. I was indecisive about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it.
He has analysis paralysis.
Yeah, I struggle big with analysis paralysis. I missed a number of deals for that reason. But to this day, I'm better now, but I still like to be very thorough before making a decision. But I just learned how to do it a little bit faster and not linger and pick on the little things now.
I also push him to buy houses.
I was ready to say that the person sitting next to you helps that issue a lot.
Yeah.
So the blend that you guys bring together. So I ask you know, so really there's two different personalities we're looking at, people in the audience, you know, and one is, you know, I can say it, overthinker, and the other one is more like, let's go do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Work it out.
Yeah.
And so I'm an excuse smasher, and you've been crushing several of the excuses that people make in terms of time, in terms of different personalities. So I really appreciate where you guys have been in this conversation. Because you know, fear is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
So what was your biggest fear, if you haven't spoken to it already? If you were to say early on, the biggest fear for each one of you?
Probably failure and having to go back to work. But I recently listened to, I don't remember, it was some motivational Monday podcast, and it says there's no such thing as failure, it's just lessons.
Yes.
So if you don't, you know, if you take what you did not succeed at and look at it as a lesson and analyze it and say, well, how do I prevent this from happening again? Then you did not fail, you learned a lesson. And I think that was kind of the hurdle, but then I flipped it into now it's feedback.
Yeah.
And you know, we did our first flip and it was like, we really thought we were going to fail, but we ended up making out. We didn't make a bunch of money on it, but I mean, we got 6 months of experience and made 10 grand for doing it. So it's like nothing, no book, no seminar could ever, you could watch 5,000 hours of YouTube and it would not have taught you what we learned. I mean, we were laying hardwood floors, we were painting trim. I mean, it was just, failing was not an option. It was like, we're going to get rid of this house and, damn it, I'm going to die if I have to.
Yeah, and so my biggest fear, and still remains to this day. I mean, my confidence level was way higher than it was then, but my biggest fear is just not making any money. And the money's not everything, but in order for us to stay in the business, in order for us to live, in order for us to move forward, is we need money. So. My biggest fear was, not, I mean, because I'll tell you this, in the very beginning of our career, we was just talking about this on the way over here. For a year or so, we were operating at a loss. We was not making any money. So that's scary. That's scary when those bills are piling up and they're still coming in. And, I hit a point where I was just very, I won't say depressed, but I was concerned. So I'm just so thankful for the relentlessness that I, just kept pushing and because if not, I would have been gave up. But money and being successful is very important to me. So that was my biggest failure, that I couldn't, not necessarily do it, but I couldn't do it at the level I needed to do to keep moving and keep living.
Well, you mentioned it too about conversation. So you fixed that. You guys hired a bookkeeper, right?
Yeah.
And it took a lot of pressure off of you.
Best decision ever.
Yeah.
Best decision ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember you grinding through that first house and like Stacy was talking about, and quitting wasn't an option.
It wasn't.
I mean, you live what you say. So, and that's the beautiful part about the two of you and doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it. We said, I said, after this and I'm done. I'm not. But again, I don't believe in giving up. And not only that, like, I love real estate. I mean, it's just, a lot of people say they love stuff or a lot of people don't have the opportunity to love what they do. When I drove trucks, I liked it. I didn't necessarily love it. I love the fact that I learned how to drive this big truck, but I didn't love it like I love this business. This business is just what I love. And I don't try to force that on other people, but when you truly find something that you love to do, getting up in the morning is you can't wait to get up. You can't wait to get up and get at it.
Yeah.
So that's, hope I can motivate, somebody who's listening, with that.
Well, I know it inspired me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm smiling because I know it's true for you.
For sure. Yeah.
For both of you. So, but let me just double check and make sure, because what parting words, we're kind of getting close to the time frame, and I hope everybody that's been listening has gotten something from you. I know I have. I'm trying to take notes and listen at the same time.
Yes, sir.
Because now the student has become the teacher, and
yeah.
And what party, if you were to say, outside of all those things, what could you share as we close this up to someone that's on the fence and either in the business and not having success, wanting to quit, or thinking about it but still can't get that analysis, paralysis? What I'm looking for you to answer in your own thoughts. What would you say to them?
Stop straddling the fence. Sean Hosapple told him when he first started, because he was working full-time in wholesaling, he's like, dude, you just gotta quit straddling the fence and quit your job. He's like, until you quit your job, you're never gonna feel the pressure. So,
and I wouldn't recommend not to cut you off, I wouldn't recommend everybody to quit your job. But if you're gonna get involved, get involved. Like I got a cousin, and hopefully he's listening today. I mean, the dude is so creative. His mindset is just so creative. It's far more creative than I would ever think of. But he only has thoughts. He never implements himself. And I'm just telling him, like, I'm like, cousin, cuz or whatever, you gotta start it. You gotta start somewhere and do it. I feel like I truly believe that I could do anything that I put my mind to. I mean, like, let's go something far-fetched. Like, I feel like I could beat Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one if I really trained and wanted to do that. So going back, just if I wanted to be a tech person, if I wanted to be let's think about some jobs, a doctor, anything like that. I just feel like with the right amount of work and time invested, because I mean, money invested is a good thing, but when you invest your time into something, and that's why I'm here today, because I spent hours and hours and hours, going to continuing education courses, boot camps, and still do to this day. Not like I want to anymore, but once you put your mind to it and start, you got to start somewhere.
And if you don't like what you're doing in real estate, look at different avenues. I mean, there's so many different lanes. So if you're unhappy or don't know where to start, switch. Yeah. Find a different type of passion within real estate.
Yeah, that's good. That's I was thinking that. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
With that. So this, I want to brag on you for one more minute before you go. So you guys were struggling to do a rehab every now and then. How many rehabs are you doing now? What do you got going on? What's your business look like now?
We got 5 active projects that we're managing and rehabbing at the time, and then we have 2 on the market. So one of them is a rental property we did for a group of out-of-state investors, and then one of them is one of our own personal flips that over by the Monon Trail. So we tend to like to keep 4 to 6 going at a time. And our goal is to, be in between that 10 and 20 space. That's kind of a new goal, but that's kind of where we're pushing for that. Stacy, she's working with more investors now. So, they steal a lot of my time, but it's a good thing that she is. But we're looking to expand and kind of bring on a project manager to our group. So, we can spend more office time and we can basically look for more deals or whatnot. Because the day-to-day in the field is pretty tough and it's real time consuming. And then it allows us to get back into, I talk about this all the time. I kind of want to dip back into the wholesaling space a little bit, mainly to feed our own machine.
Yes.
And then Stacy, she's been real big on, and it's important on getting, some more rental property, some more doors under our belt for long-term wealth. So, we're going to look into that space as well to see if we can grow with that. Do you have anything to add with that? Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at in our business right now.
Yeah, that's outstanding. 5 to 6 and things going on like that. And just for the audience that may listen now or later, these aren't usually the simple rehab projects.
Not at all. Not at all. We can't seem to.
We love gutting them.
We can't see. Yeah, we go anywhere. We can't seem to find the cosmetic ones, but then we've learned a lot. We've learned that if we're going to do a, full electrical job, full plumbing, to make it easier on our plumbers and stuff, it makes it a little harder on us because it's more money. But we say tear it all up, just tear it out, full rehab, and we always find the biggest ones. We always find the biggest ones. So in our business, what we're working real hard on right now is creating and implementing our systems. So it can be the same every time. So, whether that be the order of operation, whether that be, tracking and writing down prices of materials, prices that, contractors charge. We're just trying to create a system that we can always go to. And then not only that we can pass down to, like our property manager we're about to bring on. So, that's kind of what we want to do. We want to be able to work on these systems and then delegate and then kind of put our system on autopilot. I don't know how far removed we are from the autopilot part, but we're closer than what we was, a year ago. So
yeah. And talking about it, and I hear it in your voice now, because the gift of all of that is you're starting to work on your business instead of in your business all the time.
Yeah.
So just the kind of the process, the evolution of building a successful business, the systems, the processes. Just to recap, you talked about some great nuggets, building relationships, how you go from a full-time job to building your business, the networking, the systems, the processes, family.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, this has been a great opportunity to be with you two, and
yes, sir.
for those lenders out there that are looking for a quality company that always pays their debts back to their lenders and their lenders make money, you need to look you up. So Courtney, how would they find you? What's the best contact information that you can provide for investors that or those lenders looking to invest in capable, seasoned investors? How would they find you?
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. My name is Courtney Wheeler, and that's displayed on the screen. So you can find me on Facebook. The other way that you can reach me is by email, and that will be Courtney at indieproperties, the letter RUS.com. So Courtney at indiepropertiesrus.com. I'm very responsive to emails. Phone stays in my hand all day, and I'm checking it. So I typically, respond right away. But you can either do that or message me on Facebook, and we can go from there.
Yep.
Okay. And if for any reason you can't get a hold of him, please just let me know. We'll do that. Because one thing I'll tell you is that as a lender, the biggest concern you have, I've experienced, is whether or not these people can do the job. And there's no question that and Courtney can deliver. They've proven it over and over again. They're having properties that are in home tours and all this other stuff they won't talk about. Listen, you two, thank you so much for and delivering these nuggets and reminding me that this business is the right business for me to be in, because I get to see you grow and you guys take care and keep killing it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us, and thank you for everything you've done for us so far.
Hey, man, thank you for allowing me to be part of your lives, both business and personal. It's been a pleasure. Looking forward.
Sir. Thanks.
Thank you. See you later.
All right. Bye.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks everybody for hanging in there with us. I know we got a little long, but I just, man, I said it earlier in the meeting, no more excuses, right? This business is made, it's no better time to get involved in real estate or any other business you're wanting to get involved in, right? Mindset is key to everything. Shift your mind, shift your life, change your thoughts, change your life. And that's possible. I encourage you, this is something I read all the time, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I know a lot of you probably read it, but this is kind of a workbook. You can see how ragged it is for me. Find something like that. And another one that I believe is really strong is The Secret. If you can see that. Set some time aside every day for yourself. Read 15 to 30 minutes a day. Change your mindset, change your life. Stay tuned for more conversations with Jeff coming up. Thank you, everybody, for participating today. Leave your contact information in the chat if you would before you go. And I see that some of the comments. We appreciate everybody's commenting and showing up today. And hey, have a great Thursday. We'll see you in a week or so. All right, information will be coming out. Thanks again. Take care. Talk to you later.